Tatum. Good ball fake, one more. Tatum! Oh, he caught one! Punched it on Giannis!
Here's the steal Boston needs. And the bucket.
So he tries to get it off quick and he takes a tough shot.
Tatum, oh, what an angle! To double figures. Tatum, fancy ball handling.
The Boston Celtics just made another trade. It's a move that could reshape their future and send shockwaves across the NBA. This isn't part of a planned rebuild. It's a response to injury, money, and strict new league rules. The Celtics, who just won the 2024 championship, are now being forced to dismantle the roster that got them there. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what happened, what trade they just made, and why the Celtics, despite being champions, might be the first major casualty of the NBA's new collective bargaining agreement. It started on May 12, 2025. Game 4 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. The Boston Celtics were playing the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden. Jason Tatum was having one of the best games of his career, 4 steals, 2 blocks. It looked like he was carrying the Celtics toward another finals run. But with just under 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, everything changed. Tatum dove for a loose ball. He didn't get back up. The injury was non-contact. After further examination, the diagnosis was clear: a full rupture of his right Achilles tendon. That injury immediately ended his playoff run. A few days later, it was confirmed he would miss the entire 2025-26 season. The Celtics' best player, gone for at least 10 months. The timeline is similar to what Kevin Durant experienced in 2019. But this wasn't just a setback for Tatum. It changed the entire future of the franchise. Without him, the Celtics had to rethink their plans. And the timing couldn't have been worse. The team was already in serious financial trouble under the NBA's new collective bargaining agreement. Tatum's injury only made the situation more urgent. That's when the front office started making moves. When the new collective bargaining agreement went into effect, it introduced a rule called the second apron. It's a threshold set $17.5 million above the luxury tax line, and it comes with strict penalties. The second apron doesn't just mean higher tax bills. It also limits what teams can do. No mid-level exceptions. No aggregating salaries in trades. No flexibility in free agency. Even draft picks can be frozen. The rule was designed to stop teams from building super teams or holding on to expensive rosters for too long. Before Tatum's injury, the Celtics were already projected to have a total payroll of around $227 million. When you added luxury tax penalties, that number jumped to nearly $500 million for the 2025-26 season. That's $500 million for 1 year. Even Celtics owner White Grausbeck admitted earlier that staying in the second apron wasn't sustainable. He later sold his majority stake in the team. The message was clear. Cuts were coming. Brad Stevens, Boston's president of basketball operations, had to act fast. The injury to Tatum accelerated the timeline. With their best player out and no cap flexibility, the front office had to start breaking up the roster. The goal wasn't to tank. It was to survive under the new rules. What followed were a series of trades that gutted the team's championship core, starting with 2 of their most important players. The first major trade involved Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis had played a key role in Boston's 2024 championship run. But on June 27, 2025, the Celtics traded him to the Atlanta Hawks in a 3-team deal. In return, Boston received Georges Niang and a 2031 second-round pick. That was it. The trade wasn't about basketball value. It was about financial relief. By moving Porzingis, Boston saved roughly $180 million in future luxury tax penalties. Porzingis, who had been dealing with lingering injuries, reportedly expected the move. He found out while asleep and later posted a respectful goodbye to Boston on social media. Shortly after, the Celtics traded Jrue Holiday. Holiday had been a major defensive presence in the title run and was considered one of the leaders in the locker room. He had just earned another all-defensive team selection. Still, he was sent to the Portland Trail Blazers in exchange for Anfernee Simons. The original trade was supposed to include 2 second-round picks, but those were removed after a medical review of Holiday's records. The deal ended up being a 1-for-1 swap. Holiday was reportedly frustrated with the outcome. Some insiders claimed he didn't want to go to a rebuilding team like Portland. Celtics president Brad Stevens called it one of the hardest phone calls he's ever had to make. This trade saved Boston another $40 million in tax penalties. In total, the Porzingis and Holiday deals helped the Celtics avoid over $220 million in extra costs. The moves signaled a shift. The Celtics weren't trying to run it back. They were trying to stay alive under the second apron. But the situation became even more confusing when reports came out that Boston was already looking to move Anfernee Simons, the player they had just received. Anfernee Simons hadn't even put on a Celtics jersey before trade rumors started.
Jason, again, you were eerily confident after Game 6, just like you were in Milwaukee after Game 5. Why? What happened? And what's it like to reach this pinnacle, to get over this hump that you've not been able to get over the last few years?
I don't know. I just feel like, if you ask the question, how confident are you? I just feel like, as a competitor, there's only one way to answer that question. Not trying to be arrogant or anything, but I just really believe in myself. I really believe in our team.
Just days after the Jrue Holiday trade, ESPN's Brian Windhorst reported that the Celtics were actively shopping Simons. Simons is 26 years old and averaged 19.3 points per game last season with the Trailblazers. He's a proven scorer and a capable shooter, but his $27.7 million expiring contract has more value to Boston as a financial tool than as a long-term piece. With Tatum out for the season, the Celtics have shifted their focus to flexibility and cost control. Moving Simons could lower their luxury tax exposure even further. Several teams are already interested, including the Chicago Bulls and the Washington Wizards. One reported package from Washington includes Corey Kispert, Richaun Holmes, and 2 second-round picks. That would give Boston a cheaper shooter and more cap space. Despite Brad Stevens speaking positively about Simons at a press conference, saying he's an elite scorer who could still improve, the front office is clearly keeping options open. Whether they trade Simons or keep him, the priority is the same: reduce costs, stay under the second apron, and preserve long-term flexibility for when Tatum returns. Jaylen Brown is signed to a 5-year, $285.3 million Supermax extension. It's the largest contract in Celtics history, under the old CBA. Keeping both Brown and Tatum long-term was expensive, but manageable. Under the new CBA, it's nearly impossible.
Tatum gets past Irving, stripped and stolen by Irving. Here comes Josh Green, one man to beat, but it's a 7-footer who blocks it again. Played past the first round in his NBA career, and after missing 38 days, what a return. Lively on him. Porzingis gets away inside and throws it down. Irving's going to hear the boot.
Together, Brown and Tatum are set to make over $107 million in the 2025 Eaters 26 season, and that's before factoring in the rest of the roster. With Tatum sidelined, Brown is the highest paid active player on the team. Trade rumors have followed ever since. Celtics Vice President of Basketball Operations has denied that Brown is being shopped, but multiple reports say otherwise. Chris Mannix has linked the San Antonio Spurs as a serious trade option. A possible deal could involve young players like Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and high-value draft picks. Even former Celtics star Paul Pierce said he hopes they don't trade Brown, but admitted that the money situation is tough. This isn't about performance. Brown helped lead the team to a title just 1 year ago. But the financial pressure of keeping 2 Supermax players under the second apron may be too much. If a strong offer comes in, Boston will have to make a decision: keep Brown and pay the price, or move him to protect the long-term future of the franchise. Derrick White has become one of the most consistent two-way players in the league. He recently signed a 4-year, $126 million extension, considered team-friendly by current market standards. At $28.1 million for the upcoming season, White offers good value for his production. Still, the Celtics are not ruling anything out. Boston has reportedly set White's trade value at a Tatum
Tatum second chance off of the Williams. Here's Tatum. Oh, what a move.
As a head coach. And I think he has.
Tatum, step back three. Core!
Bridges level package. That's a high bar. The Nets received multiple first-round picks and players in return for Bridges. It's more than most teams are willing to pay. The Toronto Raptors offered the 9th overall pick in this year's draft for White. Boston declined. Despite the trade rumors, White has remained calm. In interviews, he's said he wants to stay in Boston, but understands the business side of the game. If the right offer comes along, Boston may still consider moving him. But for now, they seem content to keep White unless someone is willing to meet their high asking price. Like with Simons and Brown, the decision will come down to long-term flexibility and how deep Boston wants to go into the tax. What's happening in Boston isn't just a team issue. It's a preview of what other successful franchises could face under the new collective bargaining agreement. The second apron rules are designed to punish teams that spend too much, even if they draft and develop their talent. The Celtics did everything right. Built through the draft, made smart trades, won a championship, and still had to tear it down because of cost. This creates a new reality across the league. Teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder and Denver Nuggets, who have young stars and deep rosters, could run into the same problem within a few years. If they win and their players demand big contracts, they'll face the same financial pressure Boston is dealing with now. Front offices will be forced to choose between keeping their best players or staying flexible under the cap. That means shorter championship windows and more frequent roster turnover, even for winning teams. An anonymous executive from the Eastern Conference told The Athletic that what's happening in Boston should scare everyone. You can win it all and still be forced to break your team apart. The Celtics situation is a warning. This is the new NBA, where success comes with a price that not every team can afford. The Celtics went from champions to cap crisis in one offseason. Tatum's injury, the second apron, and rising salaries forced the front office to make tough moves. Key players are gone. Others may follow. This is the impact of the NBA's new rules, where winning can cost you everything. Drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more updates as this story continues to unfold.